I was at a loss for words after the Denver game. I don't know where to go from here. I don't. Welcome to the podcast. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. You are listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. We also do MMA. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. Let's get to it.
Anthony for three. That one goes down, and the game is tied.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
The Yankees are champions of baseball.
Shaking and baking right here on the neophyte.
You guys trying to close the show. She was doing a great job of feeding that. It's over.
Don't you regret not coming to the Knicks? Don't you regret not coming to the Knicks?
Game over. World Series over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
Man, oh man. God damn, bro. You know, at least I went into this game. Welcome to the show, 621. I'm your host, RJ. I went into this game scheduled loss, right? Like, just the bad vibes. Like, Hallie's coming to MSG. I get Reggie Miller type vibes. Like, he's trying to be the next Garden villain. And I blame partially Wally for that. Obi Toppin makes his return. There's always the chance of a potential revenge game. They got Siakam, who's a new piece over there. We don't have Randall to match it. And you're missing 4 rotational players. Tibbs only ran a 7-man last night. To be down as big as the Knicks were down in the first half. And then at one point to miss sometime between the second and third quarters, 17 consecutive threes. They were fighting from behind all night. They were fighting against not just the Pacers, but probably the worst officiating, who should probably that official should probably get fired, the one who did not call the punch in the face to Brunson there. And they still won the game. They still won that game. 4 guys, 4 key rotation players not playing. So I don't want to hear about Halliburton's minutes limit. The Knicks were on a no play limit with 4 guys. And they still won this basketball game. Denver was the game I was like, all right, it's probably going to end. 40-point win. We get to Miami. All right, well, it's Miami. They have our number. Nope. The Knicks win that too. Philly. Who's after that? They breezed by Charlotte. They just beat everybody. 9 wins in a row. It's not mattering. Banged up, injuries, none of it matters. This team's special. They just win. And that is such a good feeling to have as a Knicks fan, to finally be rooting for a team where I love the team, but I like the front office. Like, I don't like the Yankees front office. I'm always going to love the Yankees and root for their players. But man, so often I'm complaining about the manager, the front office, the executives, and the GM. This Knicks team is solid. From friggin' Brock Aller, who's in the back room managing Cap, to Leon Rose, who never talks with the media, to Worldwide Wes, who's doing his things with the connections, to Tibbs. They're just solid. And then you love the team. You love all these guys, and you want to root for these guys. This is the best Knicks fan of my lifetime, and it's the best Knicks fan since 99. You could probably argue even better. I don't know, because I was 4 years old. 5. This team is an unbelievable basketball team, and I am just so proud to be a Knicks fan right now, and every Knicks fan should take the time to actually enjoy this. This is so fun. This is so fucking fun. It's not going to last forever. Who knows what we get out of it. But that's why I'm enjoying it right now. Because you don't get this often. This is so damn fun. And I'm very proud to be a Knicks fan right now. And man, you better hope that this doesn't continue to trend in the right direction. Because Knicks fans, we are going to be obnoxious. We're going to push back. After all those years, taking hits like we did, having to hear all this shit, we're going to push back and we're going to be obnoxious as hell. You better hope this team doesn't win a championship. Because, Jesus, we will not let anybody live that down. This team's unbelievable, man. This is on a night where they got their 2 All-Stars. Randall makes the team, and of course, Jalen Brunson makes the team as a reserve, unfortunately, after being snubbed. I can't complain about that because I'm not one who votes. But congratulations to them both. We'll talk more about Brunson later in the show, of course. Randall, man, congrats, and I hope you're doing better. He's still out. Now, it's 2 to 3 weeks. That was the new update before he's reevaluated, which is good. Because 2 to 3 weeks from now is February 15th to the 22nd, that's All-Star break right there. So you're shaving a few games off that he'd usually miss if you were to come back. So the good news is that he started rehabbing, and we're going to see where we land in a couple of weeks. So that's a positive there. OG Anunoby still day-to-day with the right elbow. Grimes was out with the knee. Mitch is still out, obviously. So this was awesome, though. And let's get right into this damn thing, right? Let's head to our first break. And when we return in about 30, 40 seconds, we're going to start this damn thing up. Let's go.
We appreciate you sticking around and listening so far. When you have a chance, be sure to open YouTube to subscribe, like, and comment. And if you're already watching on YouTube, be sure to head over to Apple Podcasts and give us a 5-star review. We appreciate your feedback and are always looking to improve. Now, with that all said, let's get you back to the show.
Okay, man. Let's go right into this thing because I just want to talk about this Knicks team. A 109-105 victory at Madison Square Garden last night. You know, first quarter was tough. The Knicks, Dante DiVincenzo was hot early on, but the Knicks defense, not so much. They were getting torched. They were down 36-26, 10-point deficit. Second quarter, they go down by as much as 15 points midway through. Brunson finally wakes up and he wills the Knicks to within 7 at the half. Third quarter comes and this team flips a switch. You know, iHeart. Big moments in the third quarter. Hustle plays. You got the precious dive. Deuce McBride, a couple of big finishes late. And the Knicks are down 5 points going into the fourth. Deuce kept it going. Couple jumpers early in the fourth quarter. And this was probably the craziest final 5 minutes of a Knicks game I've seen in years. Like the intensity. Man, so many just clutch sequences. You know, midway through the fourth quarter, you got the Brunson catch and shoot 3-pointer. That ties the game. The Garden it's just going nuts. About a minute later, Brunson gives the Knicks the lead when he posts Buddy Hield for the scoop layup. The next time down, Brunson knocks down the pull-up elbow J. That puts the Knicks up 4 points at the moment. Breen makes the greatest call of the year. Born to play basketball, which might just beat the double bang from the Randall game winner last year against the Heat. 4 minutes to go. You get the Isaiah Hartenstein putback. That gets the Knicks up 6 points. Then the Pacers make a little bit of a push. They come back to take a lead after Brunson's hit in the face on that inbound. Of course, this asshole ref doesn't make any call. Hope he gets fired. At least fine. But I hope he gets both. Yeah, I mean, Brunson inbounds the ball. He gets hit in the face. He falls to the ground. Loses the damn ball because he got hit in the fucking face and didn't get a whistle. So Indiana's able to lay it in. And they take a 100-99 lead. The Knicks call a timeout. And out of the timeout, possibly the new play of the year. That beats the Brunson to Randall to Brunson, or the Randall to Brunson to Randall play, the dunk. Dante almost loses the ball. It goes into the backcourt. Brunson recovers it, drives middle, splits the defense, gets the whistle, and then finishes the floater in continuation for the N1. Ball don't lie, motherfuckers. He did miss the free throw, but Isaiah Hartenstein with another gigantic rebound. And then the ball gets back out to Dante DiVincenzo, who resets, and then he knocks down a big shot. This puts the Knicks up 3 with a minute and a half left, and they eventually pull away with the victory behind some great defense. And lost in all of that, just big moments from a lot of their role players. Josh Hart and Isaiah Hartenstein, countless hustle plays, tough rebounds, the loose ball. Josh Hart is keeping the ball in bounds again. You got elite defense and elite rebounding from Precious Achiuwa. His defense on the perimeter in the mid-range, the block he had, the putback that he had, the tip-in. The Indiana Pacers announcer, after the tip-in, I saw a clip on Twitter, Achiuwa has been a man. So some real good play-by-play last night from both sides. And the Knicks eventually win this damn thing, 109-105. And that is exactly the thing I want to talk about right out the gate here, the 105 part. Because this motherfucking defense. Listen, and the Knicks, the Knicks got off to a very slow start in this game. Let's shoot it straight. Let's say it how it is. The Knicks were down 47-32, a 15-point deficit midway through the second quarter. So Indiana's on pace for another 120, 130 points or whatever. And they were just getting obliterated, to be kind, on those Halliburton pick and rolls. I mean, he was torching the Knicks out of it. Miscommunication on switches. There were possessions where the Knicks were switching and probably shouldn't have been, vice versa. Possessions where they were bringing their bigs to the level versus tagging the roll. You know, iHeart a couple times was bit coming up. Jericho Malachi had a breakdown, which led to the Obi Toppin weak side 3. Deuce had a few tough moments. Josh Hart and Brunson had a breakdown. Josh Hart and Dante DiVincenzo had a breakdown in transition. Hallie hits the trailer. And Dante DiVincenzo had a tough time at the point of attack. Without Grimes and without OG Anunoby, Dante had to go back to the role that he was in, before OG. And obviously, we've mentioned this before, Dante DiVincenzo is most comfortable when he's in help, when he's in the pass lanes, versus being forced to stay home and guard the point of attack. So he had his issues. The Knicks had problems keeping up with Indiana's up-tempo, fast-paced ball early. Right? There was a lot of miscommunication in transition where the defense just wasn't set. There was that possession where Precious and Deuce allowed the trailer to score. There was a possession where Indiana was on a 5-on-4 fast break, and that led to an open 3 for Naismith. It was just tough for the Knicks to keep up the pace. If they missed the layup, if they got blocked, if they sent multiple to crash, then they were getting killed in transition because of Indiana's up-tempo pace and the way they use their leak-outs. And the Knicks had trouble on the glass early on. A lot of long rebounds and tip-outs and tip-ins from Hield, Siakam, Miles Turner. And, Siakam was hurting. I thought Precious Achiuwa did his best, but he definitely had issues containing Pascal Siakam in the first 3 quarters. He had some issues in one-on-one. Those Siakam drives were getting to be a tough watch. He was kind of letting Pascal bully him, and that's the size issue that we talk about. He was letting him get to his right hand a little too easily. Had some issues in drop coverage, and it wasn't a pretty defensive, first 20 minutes. But then, as the second quarter progressed and as we got more into the second half, the Knicks just locked the fuck down. They slowed down their pace. And actually, the exact moment when the Knicks went down 15 points in the second quarter, what I would consider like the momentum shifter, go watch the second they get down 15 with they're on defense. Watch the Dante DiVincenzo defensive stand, where he's representing the low man, so he's got to rotate over from the weak side to the strong side to stop the drive. He gets knocked flat on the floor. He gets up immediately and recovers to the opposite corner to close out. and he forces a bad pass, which Deuce picked off in the passing lane. And I thought that was just a perfect, like that was kind of what got the Knicks going. From there on out, it was all Knicks. They have a defense figured out. And Indiana scored 105 points in a game where the Knicks were without their two best wing defenders, plus Mitchell Robinson. They held the number one defense in the league to 105 points. 22 points in the second quarter, 26 points in the third quarter, 21 points in the fourth quarter. I mean, this was the game for me that kind of just solidified this Knick defense as legit, as elite. I mentioned a few episodes ago, I wasn't considering them elite yet. I just wanted to see a little more, a little longer, do it a little more against these tougher offenses. Well, to lock down Indiana without all of your guys. Wow. That did it. They are an elite defense. And you can make a case now they are the number one defense in basketball. They've been since the trade. And during this 15-2 stretch that they're on in the new year, they've allowed just one time for an opponent to score 110 points or more. They just, man. So they picked it up. They started trapping more aggressively on those Halliburton pick and rolls, displaying much better team defense and communication. The back line stepped up and they rotated more efficiently, right? If the Knicks blitzed and if Hallie hit the short roll off the blitz, the low man rotates to the strong side lane. The next man rotates over to help the helper, etc. He rotates over. They just did a great job in scramble. They did a very fine job protecting the basket in rotation, in help. Indiana had nothing inside the paint last night. Precious was a big part of that. Jericho Sims was a big part of that. Isaiah Hartenstein was a big part of that. And the Knick guards doing a nice job as the low man. Hart, Brunson, Dante. Really, really exceptional job. And the Knick bigs had an exceptional game. In particular, I want to talk about Precious and iHeart. Precious Achua, man. The apology for him is going around Twitter. I saw it. Man, he was such a big part of that win. He comes alive late with just tremendous defensive stands, and he's staying in front of Siakam, right? He adjusted late, and he took away his right hand. He's staying attached off screens. He's got the big block at the basket. He helped force that turnover on the Siakam drive with Dante. And, of course, in the third quarter, he dives on the ground for the loose ball. Precious wasn't having the greatest game at times. Like, I was texting my buddy during the second half, and I was like, I'll expose myself for a second. I called him unplayable. Between the jump shots he was taking and missing and the amount of times that Siakam was just, again, bullying him to the basket, yeah, I was pissed. It was in the moment. But to turn it around like Precious Achua did, to have those moments that he did, and just embrace the MSG spirit. Like, how about that? The moment where he and Isaiah Hartenstein just lock eyes and scream to each other like fucking gladiators. That was great. That's a photo that's going around Twitter right now. It's probably going to be the thumbnail in this video. That was his Garden moment. So credit to Precious Achua. Credit to Precious Achua. Yeah, I mean, he had the first couple of games for him were rough. But the skill's starting to show, and he's learning how to play Tom Thibodeau basketball. Right? Give Tibbs a big, and we said it before. We've been saying it on social media. If you follow us there, give Tom Thibodeau a big, and he does wonders. Tibbs will show that big how to protect the basket, crash the offensive glass, play in drop coverage, pick and roll. And it seems like Precious is finally starting to get the hang of that. He's understanding. Oh, okay. This is what I do. So this continues, and you got another big man that Tibbs might save his career. Really. I mean, this is a kid who is still on his rookie contract, and he's already on his third team. His issue's always been that he's too small to defend and rebound at the 5. But he's also he's a 4 who doesn't really have a modern day 4's game because he's got shooting limitations. But he's turning it around lately, and it's nice to see. 12 points in this game, 16 rebounds, 4 steals, 2 blocks, and he did this thing in 43 minutes. Now he's a pivotal part of the rotation. Isaiah Hartenstein, 12 points, 19 rebounds, 6 assists, and a block. His defense, of course, remains commendable. The rebounding, the physicality. The dude fell. Looked like he kind of hurt his already injured Achilles. Scared the shit out of me. Didn't matter to him. He stayed on the floor and Tibbs. And he ended up logging 36 fucking minutes anyway. But these guys want to win. They'll do it hurt. They'll risk it. I thought the Knicks dominated the glass. Dominated the inside, the paint. And Precious, Ihart, Jericho, Josh Hart, big reasons for it. They were all big reasons that the Knicks were 24-9 on the offensive glass, 25-13 in second chance, 62-48 in paint points. But the offense too with Ihart, the offense that he's able to generate, just doing a great job once again as a facilitator, as a screener. A whole lot of offense was created last night because of, Ihart. With Ihart as a DHO and stationary handoff hub for the guards. A whole lot of times he was creating offense for Dante off screens. He had a couple assists where he's screening for Deuce. He's helping Brunson get into lanes off his screening, generate contact. He's playmaking in short pick and roll again when the defense trapped. And this is why the Knicks are getting their way right now with 2 bigs sharing the floor. Because of Ihart's ability to screen and pass like he can. That drags the defense out. The Knicks are able to maintain a little bit of spacing still. Because Tibbs is using one of his bigs in the dunker spot. And then the other, usually Ihart, as a screening hub on the weak side perimeter. So if the defense does stay home off short roll, he runs DHO with the guards, with Dante. And Dante and the Knick guards, listen, the Nova crew. The offensive positioning is why you also have to love the way the guards move off the ball. Because what good is a Ihart screen without the movement off it? And Brunson's improvement as a relocator this year has been big time. We bring that up a lot here in the show. Just look at that catch and shoot 3-pointer he made late in the game when Indiana fell asleep on him. He kind of shifts off of Nembhard and into space. But Dante DiVincenzo moving off ball, the relocating with him, the cutting, running off screens, slipping the back screen into Spain action. You saw the Knicks run that stack pick and roll versus Utah. You saw another one last night in ATO offense where out of it, Dante does the same thing. He slips the screen up to the top. And the screening all of these guards are committing to. They play big. That's how Brunson was able to dominate Buddy Hield in this game. The Knicks were using their guards to screen guards. Those guard-to-guard screens. Brunson got his matchup advantage by using Hart, Dante, even Deuce to screen the switch. Now, I have no idea what Jim Carrey was thinking, but why Carlisle wasn't blitzing the switch and instead just leaving Hield on an island with Brunson is beyond me. You think you switch, then you blitz after. It's kind of common sense when you're playing against this offense. But thanks. It paid off, and it helped Brunson get his 40-piece. And what else is there to say about Jalen Brunson at this point? Let's talk about him when we return from our break. Stay with us. We'll be right back here on BD4, episode 621.
You can also find us on social media. If you'd like, you can follow BD4 on Facebook, and we're at BD4Pod on both Instagram and Twitter. We appreciate you helping us grow more and more every day. Let's get back to it.
All right. Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. Let's give this kid the game ball.
Bing bang.
Why wouldn't you? He's obviously Jalen Brunson is getting the game ball. And first off, I just want to say how proud I am of this kid too. Like, makes his first All-Star game ever, and you can tell how much it meant to him. You could tell how much he loves the city of New York. If you need further proof, go watch the interview post-game with he and Han on the court. And if you need further proof of how much Knicks fans love him, watch the same interview. All 2,000 fans in the building last night stayed after the game just so they were able to chant MVP during this post-game interview he had. Go watch it if you haven't yet. I advise you to. He gets emotional. He can barely get any words out. You could tell how much this whole thing meant to him. Knicks fans were just giving the dude his proper credit. And shout out to the TNT crew, speaking of credit, for actually paying some respect last night. This game wasn't on TNT, but they were talking about the Knicks after. And, Chuck's always respecting Brunson, so you got to give Charles Barkley the credit there. But even Shaq, that's like 2 compliments in a row now. Makes the Allen Iverson compliment last time they talked about the Knicks, and even said the Knicks have a shot to win the whole thing last night. Did not expect that, because just a week ago, he was talking on TNT, and he was like, oh, they're not going anywhere. So, interesting. Kenny didn't say anything stupid. He also brought up how it was pretty cool to see the Knicks fans stay after the interview to serenade him. So, the dude deserves it. He's a good dude, and he's such a good leader on this team. Like, this dude is you watch him on the bench talking to his guys. He's talking to Precious on the bench. Actually, the play late in the game where Precious Achiuwa commits that terrible turnover with a minute and change left, Tibbs is irate after. He's just going crazy. Brunson walks over to Tibbs, calms him down. Then he goes over to Precious and he kind of just signals. He's like, hey, it's my fault, dude. He takes responsibility, tells him it's all good. That's a leader. Listen, I was a giant Carmelo Anthony fan. Carmelo Anthony wasn't always the best leader. Jalen Brunson is the best leader on this Knicks team since, I hate to keep doing the since stuff, but the 90s. He embodies the Knicks spirit. He does. And he's the reason that this franchise is where it is. And he's the reason, we're seeing this kind of go around again lately. The Kings of New York sports. He's the reason that I have him above Judge. Cole might have him beat because of the longevity. But honestly, Brunson has another good postseason. I think he's at the top of that list. He might be now. Fuck it. But last night, this dude, another 40 points, 15 of 30, 9 of 11 off the free throw line, 5 rebounds. He was a +4, 37 minutes, only had 1 assist. Don't care. So that's now 8 of his last 10 games where he's dropped at least 30. And 8 of his last 9 games where he shot 50% or better. A dude at that size doing that. Playing so tough, so physical. Got probably his second black eye of the season last night. I'm sure it's black. Because of the pathetic officiating. All-time terrible officiating. And it's all the time that it's happening to him. It was happening from the start of this game. And he's impossible to guard. With the ISO, the footwork, as soon as he gets into the paint. The way he's able to stop on the dime like he does. It's just so shifty. Creating baskets with no space. Using his body to take and draw contact. I mean, forget the slap in the face. The amount of no calls on him against Miles Turner. Getting away with murder. So to deal with all this physicality as a small guard, as the only on-ball scoring option at the moment, and still drop 40 like that he's unguardable. You can't guard him. Play drop coverage on him, he'll pull or reject the screen to take you out of the action. Come to the level on him, he'll go around you or reject and get into the lane. Put him on an island, good luck, buddy Hield. You lose track of him ball watching, Nemhart? Well, he'll relocate onto the wings for that catch and shoot with 6 minutes left. So it's just absolutely deserving of that All-Star selection. Wish he would have got it as a starter. But again, I can't be one to talk about that as somebody who doesn't really do all that voting shit. Not really into that stuff. I don't watch the All-Star game. I do watch the 3-point and dunk contests, which he's in the 3-point. No, not the dunk. So he's an all-star. When is it time to start talking about this dude regarding the MVP conversation? At least put him in the discussion. Because you have to figure, okay, you got the Joker. SGA's probably ahead of him. Tatum's probably ahead of him. Giannis, I know they're kind of a disaster at the moment, but they're the 2 seed at the moment. Maybe Brunson's ahead of Giannis. I have him at 5 at worst. I definitely have him over Luka. I think Dallas, they're a playing seed at the moment. KD and Booker play together. They're not healthy enough. I'm not sure how many games they're going to last. They're always hurt. And it's more Beal, but like still, I don't know. Phoenix is borderline a play-in, play-off team at the moment. I don't know if they're MVP worthy. I think the closest arguments to boot Brunson out of the top 5 would be like Kawhi. But you know what? Like not even Kawhi, because he also plays with Paul George, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden. Brunson's doing this thing with Randall, and now he's doing it by himself. But then, maybe Donovan Mitchell has a case to be 5. Personally, I think Brunson's having the better season. I think it's a big media thing with Donovan Mitchell. For some reason, it's just so bizarre. It's like this whole media like hype train. I love Donovan Mitchell. I mean, I just think like the media makes it seem like he's much better than Brunson. And I blame that Stephen A. Smith guy, but Brunson just lost Player of the Month because of rebounds. That's literally, if you go look at the graphic, I think either Brunson Muse posted it or the Knicks Muse Twitter account. Like Brunson should have won Player of the Month if you care about that shit. But like the guy's amazing. That's all I'm trying to say. The guy's amazing, and I'm glad that he was able to see how much us Knicks fans really do appreciate him in that very cool moment last night after the game. Because the dude absolutely deserves that kind of respect. Let's go to the bench.
Bing bang.
Deuce McBride. 20 game balls for Brunson, by the way, after that. Deuce McBride, 16 points last night. 6 out of 13 shooting. 3 of 8 from 3. 2 steals, 29 minutes. Malachi, running offense a little bit in the first half. Deuce with the huge second half. That run he had to drop, I think it was 11 or 12 consecutive points for the Knicks between the end of the third and early fourth. Awesome. 3-pointers, drives to the basket. He's rejecting Spain pick and roll. And then you got the smothering defense. He's playing the pass lanes. He's defending Hallie at the point of attack. This kid, like between his... Tell you, man, between the defense that continues to be solid, but now you add in the improved shooting, the catch and shoot shooting, which has really improved. He's kind of becoming a must to stay in this rotation and maybe even be a part of the playoff rotation, which I think is really the conversation here. I have no fucking idea how he'll remain in either of those at full health, especially if the Knicks make trades on top of that. But he's playing up to his contract already. And you're paying him, you may as well play him. He needs to be a part of this team. He's just such a valuable player. Actually, with the improved shooting and the extension that he did just get to make him trade ineligible, I'm wondering if the Knicks are, I wonder if that's part of the reason they move Quentin Grimes. Because Leon's going to make a move this week. And it's probably going to be with Grimes. And I think there's your answer right there. Then, if they move, Deuce is going to be the new Grimes. That might very well be the case. But yeah, this is just a fucking impressive team. And I want to talk a little more about them when we return from break. Stay with us here on BD4, episode 621. We'll be right back.
If you have time in the day, or maybe just prefer old-fashioned reading over listening, then you can always follow along and subscribe to BD4 Blog by going to bd4blog.com. We're not on there as often, But when we do post, it's just as entertaining, opinionated, and passionate as we are on this podcast. Thank you so much. And let's keep on with the show.
All right, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, RJ Carbone. Episode 621 of the podcast. And this New York Knicks team, the wins just keep stacking up. 9 in a row, 15 of 17, 32 and 17 overall. They're currently in third place. They caught a break with the Embiid injury. Not that. And they're also now just a half game back of second place. Milwaukee, Dallas tomorrow night. We're going to be rooting against Dallas on Thursday, but at least tomorrow we can be rooting for them. And the Knicks overall at home are 18 and 5. Remember when that was a thing? No more. They're 3-0 without Julius now. And remember, I said if he misses every game until March, that's 14 games from after the Miami game to March. And I said after that I would love the Knicks to do at least 7 and 7. And if that's still the case, and it seems like it is with this new potential timeline, maybe it's even less. But if he does miss time until March, well, now with these wins, all the Knicks have to do is go 4 and 7 from now until then. So fuck, man. And like just impressive win after impressive win. It's not just the win, it's the statement wins. These big wins, whatever you want to call it, type wins, they just keep piling up. Right? And I don't know if you care about this, but the Knicks are now, after their record at one point was very bad against above 500 teams. Well, now, since the trade, they're 6-2 against competition 500 or better. And overall, they got a lot of these big statement type wins. Phoenix, the Lakers, the first time. Second time will be tomorrow. Milwaukee, Minnesota, both Miami games, Philly, Denver, and now you can add Indiana to that list. This was my favorite win of the year, and I continue to say that. And man, this Indiana team, like scum. I hate them so much. Every Knicks fan hates the Heat and the Pacers, like 1 and 2 in any order. Both of them are for obvious reasons. We just cannot stand them. Now, the only thing that would have made this win better if it was on TNT and Reggie was doing the game. But it was good to see Halliburton kind of poke the bear like Sexton did with Brunson. Halliburton poked the bear when he got into Dante's face. Love how Dante responded, by the way. And then the Knicks just said, all right, well, we'll kick your ass while you're sitting load managing in the fourth quarter, pussy. I hate them. I hate Indiana. I hate the Pacers. Can you tell? And I think they're very over. Like I'm not speaking out of hate when I say I think they're overrated. I really do. Like I don't think their style of play is sustainable for playoff success. I think that kind of early offense isn't going to fly in the playoffs when the game slows down, because the game slows down in the playoffs. Ask the Knicks. It becomes more of a half-court game, and I feel like at that point you got to be able to use your size and crash the glass like the Knicks can. But that run and gun, up-tempo, West Coast style of offense, I don't feel like it's going to fly forever. They play zero defense out of it. Like they rely on their offense. And Indiana is now 0-12, where they don't score at least 110 points. Not a good stat. I want to talk about one more thing before we kind of wrap up here. And we'll do that as soon as we return from break. It involves LeBron James. A little bit. I'm sure you've heard. So we'll talk about it in 1 sec. Studio 69 Productions is a podcast production agency created by Leo Rodriguez to allow content creators to market their podcast. It's an online platform that will market your podcast or any other project that you're working on. Get in touch with Leo Rodriguez from Studio 69 Productions. You can find Studio 69 Productions on Instagram at Studio69NJ. Studio 69 Productions, where dreams are heard and born. All right, welcome back to the show. Welcome back to episode 621 of the podcast. I feel like it's more and more becoming unpopular these days as a Knicks fan, and I get it. But I still would like another piece because the playoffs, as I just said, are a different animal. And you got guys going down left and right with legitimate concerns and questions on all of them still. Like the OG Anunoby elbow inflammation, that's day to day. It's scaring me. And I don't want to start using the S word, but like elbow inflammation in baseball is giving me a little PTSD. As a I kind of worded that oddly. As a baseball fan, when I hear elbow inflammation, I can't help it. And you never want to hear the word Achilles. So Isaiah Hartenstein falls on it again last night. Achilles is not a word you want to hear from any athlete. That scares me. The Randall situation, obviously, it's kind of still fluid at the moment. It's kind of week to week with these updates. And Mitch, it's still uncertain on his return if he does. How effective is he going to be if he does return? And then, you got old Taj, who's not the answer. So, I feel like a trade is probably, worth it. Help Brunson out in the backcourt and get this front court a little bit of durability. The good thing, though, is that earlier today, a report came out that Leon Rose and CAA has mended fences with Rich Paul and Klutch Sports. Obviously, there was a little bit of a beef going on there. But that's good because a lot of the players that the Knicks could target this deadline are Klutch clients, like DeJounte Murray, Malcolm Brogdon, Jordan Clarkson. That makes them a little easier to go after now. And another name that is affiliated with Klutch Sports that you're starting to hear a little bit more noise on, Mr. LeBron James. The second greatest player of all time. You're starting to hear a little bit of noise here that he wants out. Maybe the Knicks could be a candidate. Obviously, that Stephen A. Smith guy is doing his whole thing with that. And that's why I kind of think this whole thing is media hype. I think the Knicks are obviously one of the most marketable teams in the league. LeBron's obviously one of the most marketable players in the league. It's an easy thing to get your clicks and views on. You got the obvious history between the two sides. The Knicks are looking for a star, and right, it's just an easy clickbaity Knicks for clicks type of thing. So I don't know how real it is. I don't think it's happening. I don't think it should. Not mid-season. Why would I want to mess with the chemistry of the season? The vibes are great right now. This isn't 2K. I think things like chemistry are absolutely authentic and very, very sensitive. I think this team has a shot as it is. I don't know that LeBron doesn't automatically make them a finals favorite. Sure, if it happened, I'm not going to be pissed off. But I do think if anything was to come of it, it would be something that picks up steam in the offseason. But as of now, I wouldn't pay too much attention to it with the deadline just in a few days. And I think this Knicks team is just stay on par with what they're doing right now. Keep tabs on that whole thing. We'll see. But I love where we are, man. This is a good team. This is more of just a solid team. That was kind of the narrative all year for me. Solid team. They're above average. They're nice. No, this is a great basketball team who has a chance now to make a big, big playoff run. I don't want to get too specific anymore because, I'm very, superstitious. Man. Let's wrap this thing up with our trivia. Let's go. Okay, so our trivia question of the day for this episode. In Game 3 of the 1993 Eastern Conference First Round, which Knick served the infamous headbutt to Reggie Miller? All right. In Game 3 of the 1993 Eastern Conference First Round, Which Knick served the infamous headbutt to Reggie Miller? Kind of an easy question if you know a little bit of your Knicks history. But that's the question. That's the NYK trivia question of the day for this episode. But folks, that's it for this one. That's all I got. I really hope you enjoyed this show. Episode 621 of the podcast. The Knicks defeat the Pacers. They keep the train going. 9 wins in a row. So close from second place. Currently in third by just a half game. They're so close. So everybody's got to root against Milwaukee tomorrow night. And all of a sudden we got ourselves a second place team. So appreciate everybody tuning in. Again, if you are new here to the show, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. BD4 is on YouTube. You can sub to us there. You can find us on all these platforms as well if you want to listen to us on Apple Podcasts. Give us a 5-star rating and review. Thank you. But maybe you're listening, maybe you're watching BD4. Regardless, welcome to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, MMA on occasion. So I had fun talking Knicks tonight, guys. And I'll see you after that Lakers game. All right. Thank you so much. I'll see you then. This episode was brought to you by Anchor.
Hey there! If you stayed the entire way through, we thank you immensely for it. We hope you enjoyed this podcast and that you come back for the next episode real soon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, download these episodes, and share them with your friends as well. BD4 is a 5-star podcast simply because of you. And we'd like to keep it that way. Have a wonderful day. Go Yankees and go Knicks.